Okay. Happy Tuesday to everybody. How are you doing? I am jumping on a few minutes late as usual and just got off the other line here. So apologize for the late show, but I've got something interesting for you all today. I hope that you're going to like it. I think that you will. I'm going to show you a little sneak peek of something from my senior business that I believe a lot of you have expressed an interest in, and something that I believe you're going to get a kick out of. But before we jump into that, if you are watching live or if you're watching later on the replay, then feel free to jump in and just let us know. Say yes, no, where you're coming from. Let us know if you can hear me okay. I always appreciate if there's somebody on here live that can give me that feedback, because I've done it before where I talked for quite a while and turns out there was nobody there able to listen. So if you are able to give me a thumbs up, give me a yes or a no, and let me know if we're actually able to hear me. So, by the way, if you're watching from Instagram, so just so you guys are aware of this, when I stream these broadcasts on Instagram, it's a little different. Like if you guys are responding on YouTube or Facebook, I can see you right here on my screen in front of me. Instagram, I cannot always see you. So if just so you guys know that if you're watching on Instagram, I can't always see your comments until after the fact. But again, what I wanted to show you guys today, this is going to be something different. I've never done this before, so we're going to give it a shot. But what I want to show you today is a sneak peek to something that I've been working on for quite a while. Okay, admittedly, it's something that's taken me longer than I wanted it to. It's definitely been something that I had thought would have been done a lot sooner. But it's something that I believe is going to be at the very least, it'll be interesting. Okay, put it that way. At the very least, it'll be interesting, and it could potentially be something that really gets you excited, because if you're watching the show today, there's a pretty good chance, I'm just taking a guess, there's a pretty good chance that you are interested in real estate investing. And one of the things that I have learned over the last 10 years of flipping, wholesaling, ground up construction, JV deals, I mean, sub two, you name it, I've done it. I've done Airbnb, I've done arbitrage, right? So you renting out units that you don't even own. I've just about got a lease signed for a property in downtown Beaverton that I do not own, but we're signing the lease. I think we should be signing the lease today, where I charge, I pay rent on it. So I pay $3,500 a month to rent this space, and I rent it out. I have for the last 3 years, getting ready to roll over to another year of $6,500 a month. So I make $3,000 a month on one property that I don't even own. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying there's so many ways to make money in real estate. Okay, most people understand that. But the thing that that I have heard from a lot of people is that there are so many people out there looking for the same leads, right? There's so many else, everybody is out there looking at the same pre-foreclosure, for instance. That's where a lot of people start, because it's public information. You can just go knock on the door if you're so brave and bold, and you can get into deals very easy that way. I've done multiple deals myself doing that exact strategy. So if you are familiar with real estate investing, if you've ever attempted to do it, then you know that one of the biggest things that people struggle with is finding qualified leads. Okay, so if you know how to find qualified leads, and once again, we understand. Hey, there's Peggy from Panama. Good to see you. Tony is on here today too. Very cool. And again, if you guys are watching on Instagram, I can't see your comments, so I apologize for that. But going back to, if you're looking for leads in the real estate business, I don't care if you're looking for multifamily, don't care if you're looking for single family, don't care what you're looking for, whether you're a seller or flipper. The big question is, are these motivated sellers, right? And so we've been over this before. I don't want to go beat the dead horse, so to speak, but in the world of real estate investing, there's 4 pillars that qualify a good seller motivated lead. By the way, if you guys want to drop that in the comments, if you know what they are, drop them in the comments. I'm going to go over them, but I love seeing if how my audience is. So if you guys know what the 4 pillars are that hold up the house of a good real estate lead, a highly motivated lead, then drop it in the comments. I want to go back and look at it in just a minute. I'll get started though, because I want to get right into this as quick as we can. So the 4 pillars of a good motivated lead are, first of all, you have to have a seller who has motivation, right? Somebody who is motivated, they actually have a reason to want to sell. So this isn't somebody who's just like, no, I'm not selling my house. Well, that's not motivated. So they have a reason. Most of the time, these are life situations that happen, and it forces people to start thinking about or really need to sell their house, right? So that's the first pillar, is the seller is motivated, okay? Second pillar I call is they have a definite timeline, okay? They're not just motivated. It's not just they want to sell or need to sell. They have a definite timeline that they're trying to work within. This isn't like, well, I think in a year or so when the kids are out of high school, we might want to sell. No, that's not motivation, right? That's not high motivation. We want to talk to people that need to sell, want to sell, and they got to do it soon, right? Because that's the name of the game. So the problem though is, and this is where the third pillar comes in, people that need to sell want to sell and they need to do it soon, but their property is not necessarily market ready. Well, now we have the other pillar, right? So now we have someone who is, whether it's the property, whether it's like a probate, a situation that it says the house, even if it went on market right now, it's probably not going to sell right away because something's going to have to be done, whether a title issue has to be cleared up, whether the property itself has to be renovated for a retail buyer to be interested. There's the 3 pillars, right? And then that leads people to want to sell, need to sell. They also have a definite timeline, but the property is not quite ready to go. Those people are usually going to be more open to a cash or a creative offer, okay? So we have those 4 pillars right there, right? So you got the 4 pillars of what makes a good, highly qualified, motivated seller lead. And so many people in real estate, I see them doing this. They're wasting their time. And by the way, time is not something you want to waste, guys. I don't know if you've come to understand that yet or not, but you do not want to waste time. But people waste time chasing after what they call leads. And I would say it's not actually a lead. It's a waste of time. But they're chasing after leads that are not highly motivated. They do not have a definite timeline. They don't have any real problems that need to be fixed. So there's not really any issue there. And then, of course, they're not going to be open to a cash offer that's an investor-friendly offer. They're not going to be interested in creative financing because they don't need to. Does that make sense? So I say when you're talking about finding motivated seller leads, you've got to be working with leads that are actually motivated. That's just the only way to do it. If you're not going to work with sellers who are motivated to sell and they have a high level of motivation, they need to sell, have to sell soon, and they understand the property is not exactly market ready, and so therefore they're willing to take a cash or creative offer. If you're talking to those type of people, you're going to be in business. If you're not talking to those type of people, you're not in business. You're just playing, around. And maybe you're learning, right? Okay, I get it. But the faster you can get through the learning phase, the faster you can get around the learning curve and get into actually talking to these sellers, the better it's going to be. So here's what I discovered. I discovered about 6 years ago now. Again, almost accidentally, just like I accidentally flipped my first house 10 years ago. I've told that story before. I'm not going to say it again, but just like I accidentally flipped my first house, I also accidentally found out that there is a whole demographic of highly motivated sellers that not only need to sell, they have to sell. It's not even that they want to sell, it's that they have to sell their house. These people have a definite timeline because a life event has happened in their life where it's forcing them to make this decision to sell quickly. And that timeline is quick as possible, right? Usually yesterday is preferred, but today will be okay. Tomorrow might be too late, right? These are highly motivated sellers. They have to sell in a definite timeline. And here's the other thing. Most of these sellers have properties that have not been updated in the last 20, 30 years. So they're not exactly market ready. But the other thing too that's interesting with these particular demographic is most of them own their house outright, or they have a low balance on a loan. And so therefore they're open to cash offers because they just need to sell it. They need to sell it as is. They need to sell it today, right? Tomorrow might be too late. This demographic of sellers are seniors. Senior homeowners in America make up this, they constitute a massive amount of homeowners and property owners in the United States. And these folks need to sell, have to sell. Their properties are not market ready. They have a definite timeline, usually because of some life event. And in that life event, they're recognizing the reality that we're going to have to, do something right away. So that being said, when I started working with these folks, kind of accidentally about 10 years ago, what I found out is that a lot of these people, they're not going online to find leads or find buyers, rather. They're not going to, they're not really going to go looking up websites. They're going to typically go to a realtor, but that's just assuming that they even actually have the capacity to understand that that's what needs to happen next. Most of these folks are pretty resistant, to be honest, to selling in the first place. And so what I did was I started really leaning into after I helped this first couple. And I did it in a way that was a little bit different than how I do it today, but that's what gave me the idea, the concept. And so I work with these folks to help them get moved out of their property into assisted living. And I go in there and I give them options for buying their house. And I can either partner with them or I can just buy it outright. And I have found that these leads are America's best. And I say that not just throwing it out there. I say they are America's best motivated sellers. Okay. These are the best seller leads in America today. And so after doing this for the last 6 years, a year and a half ago, some of you know this, I started teaching a handful of people who are like, hey, we can never find good leads. And so I started teaching them how to find these leads, how to close these deals. Several of them who've actually done what I said to do have gone out and they've closed their own deals. They are getting leads on a consistent basis. And so, with that being said, they started talking, and other people started asking, and I started recognizing there's an opportunity here. And so, what I did was I took all the questions that I get asked all the time, and I kind of condensed it down into what I call what am I calling it? I don't even have. I'm calling it a mini course. Let's put it that way. So, in this mini course, and I'm going to share my screen here, you guys. If I can figure out how to do it. So give me 1 second. I'm just gonna step away for just a second and get my. All right, there's my computer. I'm gonna share this screen, and I want to see if you guys can actually do. I want to see if you guys can actually hear this. I'm gonna share a little snippet from something that I've been putting together. Okay, and I'm gonna pull this up. I know it's really confusing right now, but bear with me. Let's see if we can get something put together here. Let's go with episodes. So I have 4 episodes in this thing. We're going to go with this one right here. Let's see if we can actually, I want to see if you guys can hear this. So let me know if you can hear it and if you can see it. Give me 1 second. Never done this before, so if it doesn't work, we'll have to revamp and try again. But Silver Tsunami. Okay, let's see here. All right. Now, okay, can't hear or see it. Now, okay, only me. Boy, so you guys are trying to let me know and I couldn't see your comments. Okay. Well, I'm back. So I was trying to get that video playing, and did you guys see it at all? Somebody says they can't hear it, so that's a bummer. I thought you guys this whole entire time you were able to hear it, so apologize for that. What I was showing there, and you know what, it didn't quite seem to work. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay. Um, and Tanya, I believe this is going to be especially you're going to appreciate this. So um, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something that I haven't done before. Okay. I am going to say this. If you DM me, okay, very, very clear instructions here. If you DM me, just go on to @JohnBuysHouses on Facebook or John Buys Houses for Real on YouTube. If you guys will DM me and send me a message, say, hey, I'm interested in the video, then I will send you guys the this mini course that I've done. I'm going to send it to you guys, and I'm going to make it possible for you guys to watch this and to see it for yourself. Okay, I'm just going to put it that way because I was just trying to show it to you guys in a little bit of a public broadcast format. It apparently didn't work. So if you guys are interested in seeing this mini course that I've put together, I know that Tanya Marshall has asked for it. And I know a few other people have asked. So if you're interested in seeing this, this is a very, very interesting, like I said, at the very least, it's interesting. It is possible that it could literally change the entire of your investment strategy. It took a long time for me, to be honest, to actually when I thought about when I first got into this about 6 years ago, it was kind of like, oh, this is kind of cool. I'll just do this on the side, or oh, this is kind of a neat thing. But the longer I've done this real estate business, the more I realized that there are so many people out there scrapping for the same old leads, right? Everybody's out there scrapping for that, that cheapest house on the market. They're scrapping for those pre-foreclosure deals. Everybody wants those sub 2 things. And so if you guys are interested in the what I call the transition position method, that's what I've more or less dubbed this. If you are interested in finding out a little bit more about that, send me a DM, a direct message, and let me know that you're interested, and I'm going to make sure you get a copy of this. Okay, this has not been released to the public yet, but I am going to be sending it out to a big group of people here in the next couple of weeks. And Tanya, I finally have this thing ready to go. Been working on it forever. I know Tanya's been waiting patiently. She's asked for it a long time ago. So if you guys are interested in seeing it, make sure you DM me and say, John, I want the transition position thing. And here's what I'm going to do for anybody that responds today. Okay. So if you're watching this, well, let's see, some people watch this show later. So if you respond today or in the next, let's just say before the weekend, then I will send this thing to you for free. Okay. Now there's going to be a catch. I'm going to say nothing's for free, right? Other than Jesus' salvation, that's for free. But other than that, even that, well, he had to pay for it. So, but if you are going to get this for free, the only thing I'm going to ask you is you have to give me an honest review after you're done. Okay, so we'll figure out a way to make this possible for you guys to get this free. And this is only for like the first handful of people that respond, because I'm going to be putting this out here later on, and it's going to be public, and it's going to be, people are going to be able to purchase it, because I literally have had people every single week for the last 6 months to maybe even, kind of about a year ago, but for sure the last 6 months, every single week someone asked me about, hey, what's this thing about you working with seniors? How does that all work? Okay, so if you guys are interested in this, you're interested in getting it for free, make sure you DM me, make sure I see your message somewhere. I know Tanya has already made it mention of it, so and I'll get this copy out to you guys later on. Okay, so Andy, good to see you here, brother. I'm glad you're doing all right today. Okay. Oh, and there's John Kimberly. Cool. Good to see you, John. And Peggy's here. Peggy watching from Panama. That's cool. Very cool. Good job, Peggy. I'm sure you're enjoying time with your granddaughter down there. Guys, I was hoping that I would get this broadcast out there for you guys and you'd be able to see it and we'd be able to kind of talk about it publicly. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to say this. If you are wanting to get this, then send me a DM, reach out to me somehow, and I'll get you guys a copy. But there's no time to waste, okay? Because this is going to go public. And I don't mean like, publicly traded. I'm going to put this out there in a public forum. And I am just going to be straight up with you guys. I am going to be charging money for it. It's not going to be a lot of money. It's not going to be nearly as much as a fraction of what the people who paid me. And I'm just going to, tell the number. Some people paid me upwards of $20,000 for a year's worth of coaching. Okay. And the people that have taken the coaching and they've actually done what I said to do, guess what? Those people have gotten deals. They've actually gotten leads. They've closed deals. They've made money. Okay. This works hands down, without question. It works whether you know much about real estate or not. Okay. So for those people who've paid a lot of money, and I would say it's worth it because they have learned something. They've become people who are very much honed in on this market. They understand what's going on. They understand how it works. They understand the opportunity. They understand the strategy of positioning themselves to be the person that gets these leads in their market. For those people, it was worth the money they spent. Okay. But what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be putting it out there here soon, you guys are probably going to see some ads here and there. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making this, available on a much, much lower basis. And it's because I'm going to be doing an event. Okay. So you guys, if you were there for my proximity event in February of 2025, I'm going to be doing an event similar to that, except for it's going to be the proximity event with a senior business focus, senior transition focus. Okay, so this is the first time I'm announcing this, the first time I've said anything about it publicly. I'm going to be doing a proximity event with a focus on the senior business. How it is that the senior business is such a great opportunity. Most people have no idea about how much opportunity is here. Why it is that the first people that move on this stuff, the first ones that get in position, the first ones that place themselves as the go-to person in their market, why they're going to be so much farther ahead, and why it is that this is not something that the average real estate investor is ever going to know about. These leads will not come to real estate investors because you're not positioned correctly. There is a very, very, I'll put it this way, the senior business, the senior profession space is all about gatekeeping, okay? So if you think you can just walk in and just get deals, you got a totally different story coming. In fact, you'll probably get blackballed before you even know it. And I came dangerously close to getting blackballed, and I thought I was doing stuff right. And so if you guys want to learn more about this, I am going to be doing an event, a proximity event. It is going to be in Boise, so you guys will have to travel if you're coming from Portland. But I'm going to be marketing for that event all over the entire regional West. We're going to be hosting a special event. It's going to be really, really cool. It's going to be action-packed. I promise you this, that if you don't get enough information by the time we serve lunch, if you're like, John, this is absolutely not worth my time, I will refund all the money it takes to get the ticket to get in, and I'll even buy your lunch, and you can go take the rest of the day off. Enjoy Boise. It's a beautiful place to be. It's a beautiful place to visit, okay? What I'm saying is, I know for a fact that this works. I know for a fact that this information is something that is very much a closely guarded, I don't want to say a secret, but it's like there's only a handful of people that actually do this like as a full-time living in their related real estate business. And the people that are doing it are the guys that I'm telling you, they're killing it. They're making very, very good money doing the same exact process that some of you are already doing. Some of you have been trying to learn how to do. Same exact process, just a different lead source and a different approach to getting those leads. And most people don't know about it because, frankly, I thought I was, fairly smart, fairly experienced in real estate. And when I first figured this out, I was like, it couldn't be that simple. And at the same time, I was like, does this actually work? And it does. So anyway, if you guys are interested in getting that first sneak peek on that course, make sure you DM me. Once I send this out to the larger market, I think we're going to be getting these things they're going to go really quickly. So Kiko, if you're just joining us, looks like you just jumped in here. Good to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. What we're talking about is we're talking about this senior transition space and how it is that I have been getting leads for the last 6 years. Primarily, my best leads have come from working with seniors, and how the traditional approach that investors have, whether it's, outbound marketing, cold calling, all that cold outreach, or even if it's like setting your funnels up and setting your ads up to get leads to come to you, neither one of those is really actually very effective. In fact, I would say most people are not going to call real estate investors when they get into this time where they need to sell. there's a very, very specific reason why. And I talk about that a little bit in my training. So if you guys are interested in getting that video, that little mini course that I did, I'm going to be giving it. Anybody that wants to, that DMs me here in the next couple of days, DM me, say, hey, I want the senior business, or I want to know more about this. Send me a DM on Instagram, Facebook, or on YouTube, and I will get your, or if you guys have my cell number, you can just text me, but I will get you a sneak peek, a preview. I'll let you see the entire thing for free before it goes out to the general public. Okay. There is a catch. I'm going to have a review. I want a review before I'll give it to you for free. Okay. And I'll show you how we're going to do that. So anyway, guys, I hope this has been at least exciting for you. I know that this is something that works because the handful of people that I've trained to do it, the ones that actually do what I've told them to do, they're getting leads. They're getting leads that nobody else knows about. They're getting leads that are totally off market. They're getting leads that are highly qualified. They want to sell. They have to sell. They need to sell. The property is not in great shape. They have a definite timeline, and they're open for cash or creative offers. These are literally America's best seller leads, and most people are not positioned correctly to get these. So with that being said, I've got a bunch of projects that are burning up my time. I've got a lease agreement that I got to send out for that one I told you guys about in Beaverton. $3,000 a month is what I pay in rent, and I charge $6,500 a month, and it's not a short-term rental. It's just a piece of property that I strategically picked up because of a big project that I knew was coming to Beaverton. So I've been making $3,000 a month free and clear on that every single month for the last 3 years, and I just have to get the lease agreement sent out to renew that for another year. So not bad money, right? So guys, there's so much opportunity in real estate. There's so much that you could be doing, should be doing. But if you're going to focus on one particular area, this is my opinion, make it working with seniors. By the way, the one I just told you about, working with this property where I make cash flow every month, senior owner. So I've noticed all my best leads, almost the one thing they all have in common, whether it's a flip, whether it's a wholesale, whether it's a buy and hold, whether it's a partnership agreement, whether it's just renting, arbitrage, whatever, almost always hands down, it's working with seniors. So anyway, guys, that's it. That's all I've got today. I got to jump off. I got to get to work. I got to get this lease agreement out. And if you want that early access for free, then send me a DM. Peggy, absolutely. I'll get a copy to you. And we'll work something out. So enjoy the rest of your time in Panama. You're not missing out on anything yet. I'll make sure that you get that. But anybody else that wants it, send me a DM, reach out and let me know. And I will talk to you guys again soon on the next Tuesday Talks. Take care.